And a very good evening to you, and welcome once again to Beyond Gardens Live. My name's John Colwell, and it's my pleasure to be joined in the studio this evening for your delight by John McWilliams and by Gary Heddy. Yep. And between the three of us, we'll do our level best to set your mind at ease on gardening issues. This is the gardening program with a difference, and the difference is that we are live, and that means you can talk to us right now. How to do it? Simplicity itself.
Yes, you can call us 6468 5994.
And if you do call, please remember to turn the sound down on your television, because we're live and we can get some interesting feedback otherwise. And emails.
We love photos, so you can send them in on TV at beyondgardens.com.au.
Yeah, and this is all made possible by our sponsor, the Water Corporation. Now, in hot news, just off the press, Australia's population has just increased by 1, but it's a very important one.
Yeah, you're wondering why I was here, because good news, the reason Steve's not here is his lovely wife Sarah has given birth to their second son, Kieran, and that was on yesterday.
I gather he's already making organic fertiliser for the garden.
Yeah, well, Lockie's finally got a playmate.
He's got a playmate. Well done, Steve. Well done, Sarah.
Yeah, and another bit of news, on the totally other end of the scale, I'd like to wish my mother a happy birthday. She's 50 again, and hope she had a nice day today.
I think that's what they call an abuse of power or something. Yeah, one or the other.
No. She's our biggest fan on the show.
Oh, well. Yeah. In that case, happy birthday too. Now, we promised you emails, and last week the phones just banked up very quickly. Yes. So before the phones bank up this week, let's deal with some leftover emails from last week.
Absolutely. Okay, we have an email from Mark in Guelph. Hi Mark, thanks for your email. For a number of years I have tried to tackle winter grass in my lawn, have followed to the letter the instructions on various treatments. This year it looks worse than it has ever been. Is there any advice you can give me to get on top of this problem?
Well, let's look at the problem we're dealing with. First of all, it's a grass. It's a very, very fast-growing grass. In case you're not familiar with it, this is one isolated. Typically, it's just a bit lighter green than the other grasses in your lawn. Typically, again, called winter grass. Not surprising, it grows in winter and with astonishing speed. I think 6 weeks, 7 weeks, something like that.
Yep.
From seed
to seed.
And then you won't see it again until next year. So not surprisingly, it's a problem. The question is, what do we do about it?
Depending on what variety of grass he's got, you can actually use some of the chemical treatments, but I'd rather not use chemical treatments in your lawn, because just regular light mowing will certainly take care of that.
If you can stop those seed heads, which are very evident, and they do come up very quickly, if you can stop those seed heads, you're going to reduce the problem for next year.
Absolutely.
I'm fatalistic. It's green.
Yes.
My lawn's green. But you'll find that if you have got a lot of it, when the winter grass dies off, which it will as soon as the weather warms up and dries a bit, you're left with bare patches. And then you might want to oversow with another temporary grass just to fill those patches until your permanent turf comes back in again.
And the good news is, if you've got cooch, you can really give your cooch a scalp at this time of year, and that'll really knock the guts out of it. And the following week, do it again, and that's just about going to give your winter grass
You're trying to kill your cooch, eh?
No, it's doing very well underneath the winter grass.
It will take the seed away as well if you really scalp them as well. But I guess probably one of the overall lying things is to stop that weed growth for the following year, is to get your lawn nice and healthy before this cold, wet period starts. So around Easter, that's when you can give your lawn a light feed. And make sure you've got your grass has got good coverage. And that will take care of it.
We hope that helps.
Or you could take up golf.
Yeah.
Good 8 irons normally a good trick for that one. You need something that actually cuts in and lifts it out, and if you're really good, you can get it into a bucket without bending over.
And control snails at the same time.
Yeah. Take care of everything. Okay, second email. We have a question here regarding New Zealand yam. It is from Malcolm and Liz. Hi there, could you advise me on why Oxalis tuberosa, otherwise known as the New Zealand yam, plus another other names, is banned in Tasmania and Western Australia, but is allowed in all other states of Australia?
I don't think it's banned in Tasmania, to be honest with you, because it's one of Peter Cundall's favourite veggies.
Yes.
often Peter is seen fossicking around in the ground for the tubers. Now, it's I would love to give you one of my own pictures, but I can't because it's banned in Western Australia. We're not allowed to grow it. I have tasted it elsewhere. It's a root crop. The tubers are sort of translucent. I always reckon they look a bit like prawns in colour, in that shape. But the flavour is superb when they're roasted. Now, the question wasn't, however, how good are they? The question was, why can't we grow them? And that is because they are part of a really awful group of plants, weeds. Gardeners have already introduced, 10 different oxalis into WA, and we certainly don't need any more. So I think the quarantine people in this case are being very cautious. If our emailer does want to question anybody, then he should talk to the people in WAQUIS, the West Australian Quarantine Service.
Yep, absolutely. So hopefully, Malcolm, that will help. Okay, you can give us a call, 6468 5994, just as our first caller has for the evening. Good evening, caller. How are you?
Hello.
Good, thanks, mate. How are you going? Good. It's Nigel here.
Yes, Nigel.
I'm thinking about the winter grass, right?
Yes.
I don't know if I'm the only person in Australia that loves it because it does gives you the green in winter.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Because the root system is so huge on it, by the time it does die off and the roots, die back, it sort of aerates your lawn a little bit, your cooch and that.
Yeah. Well, I'm pleased you're so relaxed about it, Nigel. I think that's the way we should approach gardening.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know what I mean, though, eh? It invades it, and the root system is so dramatic, and then when it does die off, it sort of puts organics back into there and aerates your lawn as well, because I've had the best results. I love the winter grass.
Yeah, you're right, Nigel. I mean, most of us are conditioned into thinking that we have to have one variety of lawn. I've got 2 varieties at lawn, plus all the winter weeds at the moment as well, and they thrive at different times of the year. So when one's struggling in winter, you'll get another one coming through, and again in summer, and then you've got your shade-tolerant lawns and your more sun-hardy lawns. We've just got to get out of the habit of having a bowling green, manicured, same species lawn, and life would be a lot easier.
Yeah. And it's only...
I think it actually helps promote the new growth of the cooch grass once the winter grass is gone. I'm sure it does.
Yeah, probably does. It would contain nutrients that are broken down again. So, yeah, you're right, Nigel. But I love the relaxed attitude.
Roots and that. Yeah.
So life's too short to spend time worrying about the lawn.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
And I think, Nigel, if you came around to our places, you'd probably find that we have a similar attitude. Generally, because we're working all over the place and we don't get back to it very often. But
I think there's only one exception I would make, and let me bring up a picture of it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
There's only one green thing that I don't really like in the lawn, and that's this one. Has a variety of names which reflect it: Jojo, One Hunger, Bindi. It's not a nice thing in the lawn.
No, it's not. My little rabbit likes it, though.
Oh, we've got a rabbit. That's
a rabbit,
Okay, thanks, Nigel.
Great.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. You're doing a good job. Thanks, fellas. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Nigel. So Nigel called us, 6468 5994. We are live. We are accepting phone calls.
And I think we had did we have a Sapote query?
Yes, we do.
We do.
Okay, here we go. This is from John. He's wondering if you can, and this is actually a really good email, and this is how a lot of people should be thinking with their fruit trees. I'm wondering if you can tell me if there's a fruit supplier that can supply sapotes. I was thinking of buying a black sapote plant, although I have never tasted the fruit, but I've heard it tastes like chocolate mousse. Although the plant looked good as far as foliage goes, I would need to try the fruit before I bought the plant. I have heard it is an acquired taste. I have also heard that the white sapote is generally preferred over the black. I realise the plants are not related. I'm interested in trying both, but as they are quite perishable, do you know a grower's market or fruit seller that may have them?
Well, I mean, seasonal fruit for starters.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
You've got to wait till they come online. It's worth pointing out that although they both share the name Sapote, I've just looked it up to make sure I was on the right track, is sort of based loosely upon the Spanish word for soft fruit. So sapote itself is not a botanical name. So you can get white sapote, green sapote, black sapote. The black sapote, let's deal with that one first of all, is actually a persimmon. So if you know your persimmons, very attractive plants, very tough trees, very hardy trees for the major part. And the fruit, if you get a non-astringent variety, is absolutely delicious, but not until, again, it's really soft, ripe.
Yeah. John, if you
until you
saw,
can put your finger in and
if
it
you
goes
saw
squidgy.
how ripe the black sapote has to be, you'd have thrown it out probably 2 weeks
A black
beforehand.
sapote is the same. Having experienced it, I don't know whether you've tried.
Yes,
I've tried
yes.
black sapote and
You don't like
it's
it?
personal.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I wouldn't climb a garden wall to pinch any, that's for sure. No.
It does help if you actually, what most people do with them, instead of eating them straight out of the fruit, they tend to mix it up a bit with some cream and things like that, which I think that's where it probably becomes.
There's good cream on that. So that's the black sapote. Now the white sapote is a different kettle of fish. It's probably the easier of the two to grow.
It's a beautiful looking tree.
Let me see if I can get a picture of that up in a hurry.
I've got both growing at home, and I think the white sapote is a stunning tree.
Yeah. It's a stunning. I nearly fell into it there. It's a tough tree. It's a good, well-shaped tree indeed, and it does produce fruit that on a regular basis. Whereas the black sapote can be a little bit iffy, the white sapote is easier to grow and a tougher tree. Now, the fruit, you don't have to wait for the fruit to go soft on the white sapote. It does go softish, but it's incredibly sweet. And I don't know about you, but I have a sweet tooth. But I find white sapote is too sweet for me. Just too sweet.
Yep.
In fact, just thinking about it. Anyway, the question was, can you buy the trees? Yes, you can.
You can buy the trees. And
there are specialist fruit tree nurseries. There's a couple in Perth, Wandilla and then Tas One.
Yes.
Either of those
Which
would
is now
have these.
Tas One has now become Sustainable Central.
Has it?
Yeah, they've changed their name, but if you just look up Tas One, you'll find one.
Yep. Worth chasing up those trees if you want to grow them.
Generally, you'll find as well, when they are in season, a lot of these fruit tree nurseries will actually have samples of the fruit there as well for you to try. I have seen the fruit, both black and white sapote, in most of the mainstream supermarkets.
Yeah.
And so most of the growers, but as John mentioned, it's a very seasonal fruit. So it's only when they're
Try before you buy, though, definitely.
Absolutely. No, that's
Nothing worse than growing a tree for 20 years and finding you don't like the fruit
That's
of it.
exactly right, and more people should probably do the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a caller on the line, so thanks for calling.
Hello, welcome to our garden.
Hello?
And there's this long pause. If you're calling us, please remember to turn the sound down on your television, which might account for the delay.
No, they've just hung up.
Oh, they've hung up. Yep. That might also account for the delay, just a little bit.
I'll tell you what, that downpour we just had probably just washed them away. So just to prove that we are live, you probably would have just heard a major downpour coming down.
Yep. Another email, or shall we go to your wildflowers?
Yeah. No, we'll do an email because I don't know what's happened, but I've lost my little arrow.
Okay.
There it is. Okay, all
Let's have a look at our tomatoes.
Seeded tomatoes.
Yeah, tomatoes are...
best tomatoes of all, I reckon.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's coming into the season now where we're going to be growing and eating a lot of tomatoes.
And you'll find most of the stores are now selling tomatoes. They're selling them earlier and earlier, which is really good.
Yep.
But you probably could have planted the tomato this year back in June or July, I reckon, and got away with it.
Yep. This is from Tony, so thanks Tony for your email. I have some self-seeded toms and the lower leaves have dark brown marks. Can you help? Regards, Tony. Depending on what the dark brown marks are, yes we can. However, and this is where sending a photograph in with your email is absolutely fantastic because it just makes our life a lot easier.
Okay, all right, now.
You got a picture of one?
I'm trying to get one. There it is. Oh, it's appeared at last. Okay. Took me a while to get there. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
There are a number of things. This is the hard part. There are a number of things that make the leaves go brown. So really, it's not enough information for us to make a guess at. Should we cover the whole field? There are two wilts in particular that are very common with tomatoes, normally not experienced until later in the season.
Yeah.
If the plant is wilting on one side only, then that's a classic symptom of one of the wilts. If there's a general wilt and malaise, it could be anything. If there are spots on the leaves, it could almost be anything again. So I'm no help, really.
It's a tough one. No, that's exactly right. Yeah, I'm in the same boat there. I mean, there's even mosaic viruses and things like that, which
again a bit later. Normally, a bit later in the season. So look, maybe to query it, maybe send us a picture because it does literally speak 1,000 words.
Yes,
makes an awful lot of difference. But on the subject of tomatoes, I think we might have mentioned it before, but worth repeating. If you're putting in your tomato crop now, would you like to follow the John method, which is treat them mean when they're young, okay? Put it in the ground, don't give it any fertiliser, force it to develop a decent root system, force it really to be a much hardier plant, and not until it starts to flower do you start to feed it, because that's one way you will avoid all the problems that follow.
Absolutely.
Particularly the wilts, you get a much tougher plant.
Absolutely.
Well worth doing. Treat them mean.
And the other thing I'd say too is that if you're having this problem, I used to take out the bottom leaves, the bottom stems, just so that you've got it a bit above the ground.
Yep.
And finally, don't listen to all these shows that tell you to put potash on. You need a good all-purpose fertiliser.
General purpose fertiliser.
Because in WA, we're different to the eastern states, and you'll cause yourself all sorts of root system problems.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a few other. Have we got time for a few tricks on tomatoes?
No, we have a caller online.
Got a caller?
We got a caller.
We don't want to lose that caller, but we will talk about the tips.
Hello, welcome to our garden. Hello.
Hi, I've got a question about growing lemons.
Yes.
We've had a lemon tree in for about 4 years. It seems to only grow about an inch a year, and there's no sign of fruit. And we've got some neighbours across the road who've got the most beautiful lemon trees I've ever seen, and we're not really sure what we're doing wrong.
Well, can we go back right to the start? Where did you get your lemon tree from in the first place?
From Waldex.
Oh, so it's a known and grafted variety. Sorry, that's why I'm asking the question. It is possible you do occasionally get, rare, but occasionally you'll get a seedling pop up. Yeah. And seedlings can be anything in the citrus world. So it's a known variety. We assume it's a grafted...
I can't remember the name of the variety that we bought.
Probably Eureka would be the most common one, I would think. Now, when you planted it, how much trouble did you go to? What did you do?
Well, probably not a lot of trouble. I mean, we put some nice potting mix in the ground, and it gets fertilised along with the rest of the garden.
Yes.
But the rest of the garden grows quite well, but the lemon tree doesn't. And I'm not sure. Do they grow better on their own, away from other plants? Because it's sort of in a mixed garden bed. There's some rose bushes and some agapanthus and a few other things like that, and it's sort of up the back there.
I think, if there are some vigorous plants nearby, it can pose a bit of competition, but I really think the problem is that you didn't give it a very good start.
Yeah, I think the root system.
You do need to do that for citrus, particularly in our sandy soils, which are exactly the opposite of what citrus want. You'll hear citrus often referred to as gross feeders. What it really means is they need really good conditions. So you want to prepare a really good hole, lots of organic matter. I mean, potting mix is okay. Compost would probably be better, or soil improver would probably be better. And we always like to mention the use of a clay product, something like a bentonite clay, to increase the water holding capacity. And do a whole, how wide's this television shot? Look, watch this, hang on. Right, it's out there. Either side of me, right, out there.
There we go.
Hold that wide, right, if you can, because that's going to make all the difference in the world to the tree. Now, if it's not growing...
So can we rescue it? Can we sort of rescue it now, or do we have to sort of start again with a new one? And
I was wondering how much energy you'd got, because it may well be worth, if it's really not moved much at all, how high is it now?
Probably maybe 3 foot, 4 foot.
Oh, look, find some strong and willing people who are prepared to work responsibly and dig the thing up, improve the soil all around it and replant it. And I think it will make an awful difference.
I'd certainly look at the root system as well for any really deformed sort of J roots and S roots and things like that.
Good point, John.
Snip those off because that will certainly slow the plant down.
Sometimes when plants have been in pots for too long, and normally that's not the case with citrus, but it can happen. the roots are curled up in the pot and they never straighten out, so you don't get a decent root system. Sometimes it's even worse than that. They strangle themselves as the roots expand. They just literally cut off the sap supply.
So one of the important things when you start digging out is they've got very shallow root systems. So your big, strong men will have to go fairly wide out when you dig it up, but you don't have to go very deep because they just don't have deep root systems.
Well, I don't think in this particular case there'll be much root system there.
You never know what they're up to. But, and the other thing too is, you get this story all the time about teasing the root systems out. If they're doing this curly thing through the soil, in your pot, they'll continue to do it in the soil, so better off snipping it off and allowing it to go straight again.
I thought I might just show you this picture. Well, hang on, have I got it up there? Yeah, it's up there. Oh, this is frustrating. I don't know whether you can make that out. That's what's happened to, in fact, I'm not sure what the plant was. But that was a plant in a pot, and you can see how I've taken all the soil away and the smaller roots, and you can see what's happened to the major roots being confined in the pot. Good shape of a pot, actually. Yeah.
And that pretzel.
And that's never going to come good.
No.
Never going to come good.
Yep.
Next question is, who on earth grew it for that long in a pot? Okay.
Look, hopefully that will help.
Yeah, it should.
And
Yep.
Okay, good luck with it.
Thanks very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have a second caller on the line.
Excellent.
The numbers.
Queuing up at the garden gate.
Absolutely.
Hello, welcome to the program.
Oh, good evening, gentlemen. My name is Rosemary. Now, I have an unusual question.
Yes, Rosemary.
Most people wish to kill moss. I want to know how to grow it. The reason being I have a grandson who uses it round his bonsais. And last year I went round collecting a lot, but this year I haven't seen much.
Look, moss is a different life form to most of the other plants we choose to grow. And what it really likes is very poor drainage, plenty of moisture and plenty of shade. And if you can provide those conditions, moss will just about stay green year round.
Yeah.
It's quite remarkable stuff. What's even more remarkable is that, as you say, most people want to get rid of it. Is that when we get some dry weather now, the green moss, like out the front of our place between the bricks, moss everywhere, that green moss will go brown. It doesn't actually die. It just goes brown. And you can, it's a good thing to get kids involved in it. You can take a piece of that moss off, you can dry it out very, very slowly, right? Dry it out, then you can pour water on it and you can watch it go green again. It's that quick.
Yeah. No,
great fun.
It's amazing stuff.
So how do you grow it? Yes, keep it moist, keep it damp. Cool if you can as well.
Right,
that's it. That's all it asks for.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, Rosemary. Thank you.
Bye.
And some of the mosses are so attractive.
Oh, they're great.
They, the patterns on them are really quite stunning.
And then
really
throw in some lichen as well with their little spore tops. They're great.
It's a lovely mix. Yep.
Absolutely. Okay, we have another caller lined up at the garden gate. They're forming a queue.
Which is very nice. Hello, welcome to our garden.
Hi, my name's Eileen from Wundowie.
Yes.
I've got some noni seeds and I've been trying to grow them with no luck whatsoever for about 6 months. I've only got 20 seeds and I've sown about 10 over the 6 months.
I missed that. Sorry, did you get...
I didn't get the...
Noni.
Noni.
Could you spell it?
N-O-N-I.
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 I don't know what that is.
It's a weed in the Northern Territory, apparently, and people juice the fruit for health reasons.
Right.
Interesting.
Very
If
interesting.
you have time to Google that,
when you're saying that it's a weed in the Northern Territory, that's got some alarm bells ringing. Potentially for the growing climate that it needs. If it's a weed in Northern Territory, it sounds like it needs some fairly serious warm weather.
We're just playing for time while we Google it and see about Noni Hazelhurst.
Did you?
Hang on, Noni juice. No, there's a fair chance that might be it.
So have you have you tried to grow this over the winter months? Have you?
I purchased it for a couple of months ago, the seeds, and I've been putting them in over the time. I guess I haven't waited for the real hot season, but the juice comes from Tahiti apparently.
It's
I can.
germinating at this time of the year from some of these areas that you're saying it grows.
We've got this far.
It looks like it's not going to germinate just yet.
I've never heard of it by that name, but I do know it by the botanical name. And this is a picture of what the fruit looks like, which is somewhat weird, Beastie. That's it. It grows on a tree. It's very tropical. That's the tree, and this picture is actually taken in Singapore Botanic Garden to give you an idea. The flower, but there's the fruit, and here's another shot of the fruit. And that's when it's ripe, it drops to the ground like that. So it's about the size of a large mulberry. Will it grow here? I don't think so. Look, I'll do a bit more homework on that, but I think you'd be almost a supreme optimist to grow it here.
That's why they pay $75 for a bottle of the juice.
Yes, or find some other alternative. Pardon my cynicism, but just about every wonder product usually turns out not to be.
I'm with you there.
Yeah. Okay, sorry we can't be more help, but as I say, move to Darwin perhaps. Yeah. but down here, I don't think so.
Yeah, yep.
Greenhouse maybe?
Interesting.
I'll make a greenhouse for it. Yep, thank you.
Yes,
okay, that should be a big one.
Yep, exactly.
I think the juice might land up costing a lot more than $75.
Yep, exactly. Okay, thanks for your calls. It's been good. Is it time for a break?
Oh, is it? Are you asking the question?
Yes, it's time for a break.
It's time for a break.